We are recording. Patreon.com/RhinoPod. Patreon.com/RhinoPod. Just did a great episode about Sohrab and Trump DeSantis 2024. You got to go to patreon.com/RhinoPod to check it out and see what we said. Kaitlin, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Crazy September month. Now it's almost October, which is the best time of the year.
I agree. Well, I like late September. Past 2 weeks, the weather, I know, extenuating circumstances aside for yourself, it is the best time of the year. And getting into early October, it's fashion weather, it's vest weather. It's the Han Solo look for all the ladies with the high boots. Are high boots still in? Yeah, I don't even know if they are.
Yeah, they're back in this year. They're like really in. Like the riding boots, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, riding boots, white
jeans, J. Crew vest, flannel.
Yep.
Probably at an orchard or a pumpkin.
Do you feel an unnecessary pressure to go apple picking in the fall, and do you force Mr. Kaitlin to do so at his, begrudgingly? Does he begrudgingly agree?
He asks me if I want to do it, and I'm like not hardcore on it. Although I do like going up to Russell Orchard and is it Ipswich? Yeah.
I've been up there. I can't say we've been doing it every year since my daughter was born. Before that, this year I told my wife, I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I was just like, there's no, what is this? First of all, she's older. She doesn't really want to go necessarily. It's not that fun when the kids get to be a certain age, then it's just like you're dragging them along and they're like, this is for little kids and they know it. They don't get excited about it and they want to go and you've just wasted an afternoon. And we're kind of at that point. And there's this pressure. Why is there this pressure to go apple picking in New England? I don't get it. Just don't. Like, you can still have your pumpkin beer. You can still watch football. But the apple picking is like you have to kill a whole day on. There's a limited number. There's like, what you say? Like, so early, first week in September, 1, 2, 3, 4, like seven weekends times 2. There's 14 days of really great fall weekend weather when you're not working, and you're going to blow one of them apple picking. No.
Yeah, it's not. I don't do it either.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right.
I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know. Like I am up on the North Shore. So like Appleton Farms is like right there. Russell Orchard is right there. And I go to Ipswich all the time and I just don't feel the true need to go apple picking.
There's none. There's none.
I think the Crane Estate is cool, but I just don't feel the need to go apple picking.
No. It is overhyped. All right. That's topic 1. I don't know. I love how we get somewhere, these topics. But first up, we've got lots more spending to do. And my favorite part about the Democratic Party right now is they're just spending for the sake of spending. No, talk to any Democrat. They do not know what they are spending money on. They just know that they're spending because spending is spending and spending is good.
Jeff, did you know that Jen Psaki said today that the bill is entirely paid for? It's a net zero. Is that what she said? Yeah, she said like net zero or something. Net zero money added to our national debt.
What are we supposed to do? Because this is something that like
I don't know how they're going to pull in $3.5 trillion off of taxing above $400 income.
But they're clearly not, and they're clearly just lying. And the mainstream corporate press just goes along with it. Like they just have to do it. What? This is how people get really upset when there's just the administration is clearly just lying over and over and over again. They're lying about Afghanistan. They're lying about all the proposed legislation that's out there. They're lying about voter suppression all over the country. They just, anybody who pays even a little bit of attention knows that they're just completely and utterly corrupt and dishonest. And everybody just shrugs their shoulders. Where's the Republican Party on any of this? They're just like, meh.
I do have to say that Mitch McConnell has done a really good job on the Senate side of saying, if you're going to raise the debt ceiling, you got to do it on your own.
Did I hear about a possible government shutdown? And we control no branches and houses in the government, and they're blaming us?
Yeah, because in the past, there's kind of been this like farcical notion put forth that both parties have come together to make sure that the debt ceiling is raised and the government doesn't shut down. And it's like, no, like you control the Senate, the House, and the White House. You want to raise the debt ceiling, do it on your own. We don't agree with the spending on this type of inflation that we got. Do it on your own. I agree with that.
Well, yeah, no, that's fine. But it's like, I forget who pointed this out the other week, but it's like the Republicans from, so it's 2021, 10 years ago, even 8 years ago, 7 years ago, the Biden administration is printing money hand over fist. And Republicans are like, yeah, sure. Throw the printed money at the potholes and the bridges, and it'll all be good. And these infrastructure bills, like 20% or less of it is about infrastructure. It's all just, they're all calling it. The progressives are getting what they want. Like, I'm baffled. We have 3 more years of this stuff.
They're not getting totally what they want. They are getting what they would have wanted back during the Clinton era days. But right now what they want is basically the Green New Deal, which, or at least what their infrastructure spending would have been for the Green New Deal. We're going into kind of a fight here. The Republicans, and it's kind of funny because I'm just sitting back eating popcorn, watching them all fight, which is kind of funny because the progressives and the moderates in the Democratic Party right now are really battling each other, and it's kind of interesting to watch. We'll see which side caves. I think the progressives will end up caving, but we'll see.
Well, I don't know that. Well, it depends how this is set up, and I'll be honest, I have not been following it as closely as to know all the intricacies. But I think the progressives will blow it. They always overplay their hand, always. And the best outcome for America is nothing actually happens. Not the compromise of we spend $1.3 trillion on infrastructure we don't need to spend, as opposed to $3.5 trillion that the progressives want.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Like, there's far too many Republicans are going like, okay, well, we'll do the infrastructure bill at $1.5 trillion. Like, no, you shouldn't. And there should be unanimity across that. That's an obscene amount of money on top of what we've already spent as COVID relief and printed that money. I mean, this is insane. And nobody that I'm aware of is stepping up and going, hang on, all of this is bad. All of it. From top to bottom, start to finish.
Not even Rand Paul.
Not even Rand Paul. I mean, Mitch McConnell's like, go ahead. We won't help you raise the debt ceiling. Oh, okay, that's something. That's not a lot, though, because if this thing passes, inflation will just go even higher.
Well, I don't think it's going to pass with $3.5 trillion, right? So the issue right now is we have a 50-50 Senate. In order for them to get $3.5 trillion, they'd have to get Manchin and Sinema on board, plus Kamala Harris as a tiebreaker. And I think that would be the first budget passed on a tiebreaker that I've heard of ever.
I also think that they're playing like the media, and I've even seen, I saw Jessie Mermel tweeting about this, how she hates, Kirsten Sinema. Like, fuck that. Like, please. Like, Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin are just the ones that are in safe states that allow, that they couldn't get hurt by not supporting the bills this way. There's plenty of other senators on the Dem side. I'd say,
they're covering
7 or 8. They're like this is nuts. This is nuts. They probably are like, let's just play this whole thing back and forth so both of them die, because inflation is out of control anyway, and we can't let this happen. So let's look like let's try to look like we're fighting it out, and both the bills die, and then America's better off. I'm hoping the Machiavellian mindset in Washington, D.C. is making that happen, because we're in for rough shape if we pass, $1.3 trillion in brand new spending of money we don't have. But
for
yeah,
infrastructure.
For infrastructure.
For infrastructure, it's not $1.5 trillion in new spending. It's half that. It's 0.75. Because the half of the bill is from old spending from COVID money that they had left over that they didn't spend.
We didn't. I know you know this, but
which is something that pisses me off, because if you're going to spend those large amounts of bills, spend the fucking money. Like, don't waste the money. And so at least they're trying to recycle it into something else that's semi-useful. But
we don't have the money. We're just printing it, and if they printed it and burned it,
we don't have GDP that will lift up our economy anymore.
We don't have, like, that $750 billion that didn't get spent was not $750 billion we had. We printed that to spend it. So we would literally be better off if they burned it or digitally erased it and sucked it back into the Federal Reserve. However they got to do it.
So I think there are some things. I actually had this conversation with someone yesterday where I was actually raising the price on something because of inflation. We had to meet inflationary costs, and hopefully inflation goes down for the next few years. But one thing that really caught my eye today was this actually piece from CNN. Economists also sharply cut their call for third quarter growth to an annualized pace of 4%, down from 6.6 in May. That's concerning.
Well, what do you see that? Yeah, this is the economy's going to overheat, because it's just, look, people.
I don't think people understand that these right now, if we have inflation that's over probably 4%. I mean, we at some point it was like 8. It's not going to go down. No. It's not going to go down easily unless Dems take their heads out of their assholes. That's not going to happen. And it's just bad. I mean, we need to get it under control.
Both these bills need to fail. And the money that was earmarked for COVID needs to not be spent. Like that, you stop the bleeding first. Then we're going to have to raise interest rates and suck all that money back into the economy. Or back into the Federal Reserve, I should say.
And that's what I think that they called for next year, right?
I don't know. I don't know if they should be calling for it.
I think they hinted at it last week.
Okay. The Biden administration was all about, the adults are back in the charge, the grown-ups are in the room, and I have never seen such incompetence. Like, this is something you get. This is the activist class. The activist class never really accomplishes anything. They don't know how things are run. They just think that if you yell and raise money and you talk about something and you pass a bill, it's like lawyer's disease. Lawyers don't know how to really run anything. They know how to pass bills and write things. And it's a problem when you're in the real world and you actually have to run a business, or you have to be in charge of an organization and keep it operational. This is pie in the sky nonsense. These are all buzzwords. Jen Psaki just gets up there and spouts off buzzwords over and over again and circle back with all the question and a condescending tone, you know? And it's like this, the tone is the substitute for an actual content. These people are, I mean, I don't want to say they're idiots, but they've never accomplished anything substantial in their lives, but have titles and accolades and degrees, but they don't know how to do anything except talk and pass laws and spend. And that's a problem. And that's a real problem. We've got, like, Kamala Harris is the classic example of this. And we're in real trouble when I think Biden's in poor health. And I do have to say one thing, John. To your point, they have their degrees and they think that they're so smart and all of this other stuff. And I actually read this interesting piece from the Institute for Family Studies this morning. Someone sent it to me. And one of the things that they were talking about is the distrust is rising amongst college educated people. Okay. And one of the things that they talked about is the more educational degrees Democrats had, the more likely they were to misestimate Republicans' actual views. Okay. So if we're talking about people who have these higher educational, I made this point and someone actually disagreed with me and I said, you're actually misconstruing my entire point. What I'm saying is that when you have these higher level degrees, you're insulating yourself within your degree and what your personal opinion is and putting your own personal bias on that, rather than looking at the facts on the table and being able to to construct what's going on. Mm. So, or being able to really look at someone else's view. And that's what I think Jen Psaki is one of those people. Well, she's a political clown. That's what her job is. But I think a lot of higher level Dems are having the same issue. Yeah, I think there's a lot of credence to that. The more advanced degree you have, the more myopic their view becomes. They just become, put blinders on about everything else. You become so thoroughly, it's the Tom Nichols syndrome, right? You think you're so smart and you have it all figured out, but you don't know shit. And you end up being paid by China. Yeah. I mean, it's Tom Nichols. It's Tom Nichols syndrome we're coining that. Fuck you, Ruthless Podcast. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, we're coining Tom Nichols syndrome, and it's just like where you think you're so smart, and you constantly get, shown, just taken to the woodshed on everything you believe in. Nothing you think or say or do turns out to be correct or right or valid, and it's proven time and over and over and over again. Yet you're still so thoroughly, smug that you just I'm still an expert. But remember, it's not principles first if you question whether or not Mr. Nichols is a conservative or not. Oh, he's not. I mean, it's abundantly clear. I mean, it's a joke. That's what Mr. Principles First blocked me on Twitter over. Me asking that question and expecting a serious fucking answer. I wish people would I don't want people that I go after to block me. I want them to mute me. They can mute me. Because I do like seeing their idiocy or their point, so I can point out how bad they are. But if they even mute you, you won, right? Like, I won that exchange because he blocked me, right? Yeah, but then you miss out on all the good stuff. No, I still get sent the good stuff, so no worries. Okay. Everybody sends me this person's tweets, and it makes me laugh so hard. Even Tom Nichols' tweets are like, Kaitlin, because Tom Nichols blocked me as well. Yeah. The what do you call it? Who blocked me? John McCormack. Did he really? I swear to God, years ago. I don't even know why. The reporter from National Review? I thought he was the Weekly Standard at the time. He could, yeah. I honestly don't even know who he is. But like I see people comment or quote tweet, and I'm like, oh,
I send you his article all the time, right? When
man,
you
like a couple times, Bill was like, oh, John McCormack, can't see it. Oh well. I'm like, I move on, but I don't know. But I wish they would just mute. If you don't want to hear it, fine, mute. But I want to use you for content. And we, and otherwise I got to go incognito and go to your site and blah blah blah. I mean, I can still get there, but then it's just like more effort. Anyway, I hope reconciliation is a miserable failure. I don't want any of this to pass. It doesn't need to pass. Infrastructure should be spent on a state-by-state basis. The federal government has so little involvement in infrastructure. Bridges and roads are built in states. Literally the only way it can work. Maybe you can make an exception for nuclear power and a few other things, but other than that,
I think it would have to be nuclear power. I mean, we could talk about that another time. Here's what I think is going to happen, Jeff. I think that they're going to pass BIF and the progs are going to cave. My concern is, though, the reconciliation bill that goes from the House to the Senate. Manchin doesn't want $3.5 trillion right now. And Kirsten Sinema, whatever. I keep on pronouncing her name a different way than you do.
I thought it was Cinema. No?
Cinema? Okay. Anyway, almost like cinnamon.
Yeah.
She's, yeah. Anyway, she attended a meeting or a party with five.
It was a fundraiser. It was a fundraiser.
Fundraiser. She attended a fundraiser with was it 5 businesses that do not want this $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill to pass. So that's 2 under of the Democratic. So that would be 48-52 Republicans right now.
No,
if whipping votes, I would be a great vote whipper in Congress.
She's great, and to put it in terms you understand, she's my John Ossoff.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Well, no, she is hot. Let's be real.
Yeah, she's great. She's like,
no.
She just, look, if she one day, pulls the mask off and goes and like gets into like a really important position, like who knows, pulls the mask off and goes, haha, socialism, motherfuckers, gotcha. I'm going to be like, good on you. Like, I swear to God, I will be like, well played, man. I will be upset. But if she's like, I fooled you, I will be.
Isn't it crazy how
hats off to you, my lady.
Isn't it crazy how she used to be like a 9/11 truther, Code Pink, and
I heard Code Pink anti-war. I did not hear 9/11 truther. That's new to me.
Maybe I got that.
Maybe.
But she was like a super far lefty liberal crazy.
Yeah.
For a long time, and now she's not. Good for her.
Well, good for her if she woke up. I mean, I'd be very surprised if it was all an act, to like be a, conservative Dem or a, moderate Arizona, whatever, Arizona moderate. I mean, good.
Well, the Democratic Party of Arizona voted and did a vote of no confidence on her. Did you hear about that?
I did not hear about that.
I think that was like last week. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, good for her then. I mean, they should. It's so funny. It's like if there's like a new wave of moderates breaks out. I'm just like, you know what? I kind of hope like on some level, I think at some level I would be good, but like on another level, I just don't want to hear like from actual moderates like bragging about it. I despise it. So,
I hate Democratic moderates. I don't like them. I actually hate them.
Yeah.
I mean, I Republican moderates I'm fine with. Some of the things, except for their Liz Cheney standing, I can't do that. But but the Democratic moderates, no, I can't, because they always go with the Democratic position.
Yeah,
like they end up, like the Republican moderates will always not go with the Republican position, but the Democratic moderates always go with.
This is it. When push comes to shove, they vote yes. Manchin will vote yes. Yeah. It's like, keep in mind, he hasn't said no. He's just said no to $3.5 trillion. They could be like, all right, 2.7, and he might go yes, and it's still a terrible decision. Like,
yeah, I think he'll go 1.9. I think that will be maybe 2.
It's still awful. That's a hard. I mean,
I agree with your point. Yeah, I agree, but I don't think it will be. Yeah.
Yeah.
They will do some number.
So, in case you weren't paying attention this weekend, and apparently all of Boston media was not, the Massachusetts Democratic Party. What's that?
Are they ever paying attention?
No. There's something fascinating taking place in Massachusetts, to me anyway. Well, one, and this is emblematic of it, apparently the Massachusetts Democratic Party had their convention, their annual convention.
Where was
I don't even, Lowell, maybe. I have no idea that this took place. I learned about it from Evan on Twitter. It was
Evan Lips, yeah.
Yeah, there's no reporting on it. If there's no reporting on it, did it happen? Did I was telling you before the broadcast, I think they're so neurotic, and that like probably 98, 99% of them are all vaccinated, but they're probably too scared to show up in person because they thought they'd get COVID. I sincerely believe that they're vaccinated and they don't act like they're vaccinated. But there's this weird gap in Massachusetts politics and the media that I mean, yeah, sure, there's the cursory Globe article, and I don't know, I guess people still read the Herald. I don't, but it's like I'm not paying for the online subscription. Are you feeling that, like this void of just like there's with Beat the Press gone, there's maybe like one nightly, Sue O'Connell's off the air of NECN. It's just fluff. There's no actual.
Sue O'Connell is off air.
Well, her show was a year or two ago. Her commentary show. She still does stuff for them, but it's like, are we it?
We could be it.
That'd be great. That'd be great if we were just it.
About state politics, that'd be cool.
Yeah, but it's
the Republicans.
It's lonely. I want somebody to beat up. I want somebody to pick on. I could, of course, pick on like the Globe and Renee Graham and Stephanie Ebert and Shirley Young, but even them, even their articles are just the same recycled stuff over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's like reflecting on a Max Boot or Jen Rubin article. They're like all the same.
All the same. There's no. I don't know. It's kind of depressing. It's like I want a worthy adversary. I think we won. Maybe
we'd have to see what going into midterms, right?
Yeah.
Like,
but it's.
I mean, I feel like in Massachusetts right now, it's like kind of weird because like we're not having the same reaction. Like, I was like expecting like a hunkered down reaction to COVID, like going into fall, and I'm not getting that, right? Like
I don't know.
Like
a lot of mask mandates around town that I'm thoroughly disobeying.
But are they like calling the police on you and like?
No, I would willingly. Here's the thing. Like I've said this many times. It's like I'm very few circumstances where I'm going to obey the mask mandate of a city. You know what I mean? Where like the next town over doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Give me a fucking break. It's all theater. It's all show. It's all bullshit.
Has an indoor mask mandate and Beverly doesn't. Like that's insane to me.
Well, it's. I mean, no. What that is one town is normal and one town is nuts. And the town that's nuts is the town that has the mandate in place, and it's just you neurotic people that want to look like they're doing something, and appease the crazy people that get in their face, and they have no spine, and they can't tell these people you're vaccinated. Shut the fuck up. Like we have to move on to this. This is the thing. There's too many people out there that are like, just do it. It'll only be. It's the big deal. Come on. It's not that big of an imposition. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because I'm vaccinated. Because you got your shot. I got my shot. The science is real. Stop it. We have these people. This is the thing, Kaitlin, that everybody in the Northeast and in a blue state needs to understand. The people that want to keep masks in place, they're never going to stop. They need to lose. We need to make them lose. You need to practice civil disobedience. Don't wear your mask. Don't wear your mask. Go to the store. Don't wear your mask. Somebody tells you, say, I'm vaccinated. Go fuck yourself. If they're like, well,
Yeah.
if they're like, I'm calling the police, you'd be like, call the police. You're not violating any law that was passed by a legislature. The police could arrest you. Don't fight the cop. Don't do anything. Take your pinch like a man, as they used to say. Get arrested. See what happens. Take it to court. Take it to, I mean, like, fight it. Like, honestly, because enough is enough. This has to end, or it never will end. Right now, the governor of New York is firing all the nurses that didn't get vaccinated. Now,
and replacing them with National Guard. I can't imagine those numbers would match, right? They can't have that many of medical unit for National Guard.
No.
And I'm sorry, a National Guardsman is not the same as a nurse.
That's
so dangerous to me.
This is not the role. I would rather have an unvaccinated nurse than some chucklehead who signed up for ROTC. Like, no. No, right. And let me rephrase that. All due respect to, our men and women in uniform, but you're not nurses. Like, no, like, I want you shooting our enemies. I don't want you giving me an IV. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I know. I understand that. Like, yeah. I think this is a lot different than when Charlie Baker was like, we're going to bring in the National Guard to be bus drivers. Like, that'd be an appropriate use of the National Guard for a bus driver shortage. Nurses, no. That's a 3 to 4 year degree. I would be more comfortable with an actual nurse than someone that was in the National Guard taking care of me.
Yes, because driving a vehicle is something that every functioning adult knows how to do. Being a nurse is a specialized skill.
It's very easy to get a bus driver's license. It's not as easy to become a nurse.
Anyway, I hope the infrastructure bills fail. Okay.
You hope I want it's. I think it's an option on the table, right? Like, it's that. What I've seen from the Dems in the last probably 2.5 weeks, Jeff, has been kind of insane to witness, right? Like, they've been so in disarray. I've never seen this in my lifetime. They are usually not in this much disarray.
Yeah, we're usually the ones in disarray, but it's like
it's usually us being cowards.
Yeah.
Not the Dems. They are very. I think they're in disarray because they have a current leader of their party who is not sitting at the wheel, and is not smart enough to lead them.
Speaking of which, I mean, he's a low functioning. I mean, geriatric. The senility is taking hold. His poll numbers are plummeting. Well, what's he at now? What came out this week? I know what it was.
42, 43.
42, 43. So that'll probably
the disapproval is over 50.
Good. I mean, yeah. Who are the people that are? I guess that everybody's chosen their side.
Polarization now is really hard.
Yeah, Trump's ceiling and floor was 42. Biden's ceiling and floor will be 42. And I guess this will be locked in.
We're not seeing gains. Like, that's the thing. If it were temporary, we'd be seeing approval gains. We're not seeing that.
There's nothing he can do or knows how to do that will fix this. Well, let me say this. He could do Republican and conservatives things like rein in spending, stop.
He's not going to do it.
Yeah, but the things he needs to do to get his approval rating back up, he can't do politically and won't do politically.
Let's say the immigration issue right now. This would be very easily solved if you kept these people in Mexico as per the policy that the Supreme Court said that you need to be following. They're not doing it. They're doing catch and release with these migrants down in Del Rio. They've released 12,000 migrants into Texas. Biden's Department of Homeland Security is just not doing their job. Like,
it's bonkers to me. This is one where it's like, Tucker caused a little problem because he's talking about replacement theory, which the left likes to say, well, it's white replacement theory. He's like, no, it's not white replacement theory. It's replacement theory. It's like they're letting lots and lots and lots of immigrants into the country illegally to then allow them to vote and replace the voters who would vote against Democrats. Give them social welfare benefits, and then you have a locked-in block of voters. It's not really theoretical when your adversaries say, yeah, we're planning on doing this. Like
I think both sides play this replacement theory more than it act. My biggest issue right now is immigration enforcement. And even following basic immigration law. The Biden administration is just not doing this at all.
But the problem is, Kaitlin, it's like with that, it's like, well, what literally is the motivation for not enforcing immigration policy? The only rational one I can think of is the concept of replacement theory, where it's just like, yeah, we just let people in because, we want them.
Because the Democrats are losing the Hispanic vote like crazy. So if that were your real motivation, you're losing it because you take people for granted and you're stepping on the toes of people who are socially conservative already. So I don't know.
Well, I'm not, unless pretty well tuned into this issue. There isn't a lot of other reasons to let massive, massive amounts of undocumented illegal immigrants into the country for logical purposes. Like, there's not a flood of, we don't have, a bunch of low-wage jobs that are not being filled that would otherwise be filled, and so on and so forth. It serves no purpose other than nefarious voting pumping up voting numbers in areas that you want to win. So I mean,
you're not going to win Texas with this. You're going to actually turn the suburbs away from what Democratic gains are in Texas, and you're going to turn the Rio Grande deep red, which is a huge issue for Democrats going forward if this is not taken care of. And even in Florida, you will lose. Florida will be deep red. New Mexico's, Republican Democrat difference is only 100K, guys.
Yeah, the northeastern liberals simply do not get this. They are
because their idea of an immigrant is someone from Europe. Like I mean, I hate saying it like that, but like, I'm sorry, but not a lot of people who we probably hang around with go into Lynn. I mean, I go into Lynn because Lynn has great food, and I kind of, enjoy going into their Walmart because it's better than the one that's on Route 1. But yeah, I mean, they don't care. I mean, and the people in Lynn who are socially conservative, yeah, we share those values. We go to the same Catholic church. We are of the same faith, but those Democratic voters, those white Democratic voters around Boston, they'd never go into Lynn Revere.
No,
they don't.
No. And they're the mouthpieces in the media.
Right.
It's all, yeah.
I mean, how many times does Sue O'Connell go into Lynn? Like, come on. No, she doesn't.
No, it's all Cambridge bubble, Jamaica Plain, Brookline. Yeah.
They don't go into Lowell. They only go into Lowell when it's election season.
Correct. No, you're right. This is going to be immigration is going to be a massive problem for them in the midterms and in 2024. And the only, if you try to this is the thing, you can't look, I can't, or I at least try to tell people, you can't look at this from your own perspective as a normal thinking, logical person. You have to look at it from their perspective. It's emotion. Oh, just let them into the country because human rights is everybody's rights, and you have the right to an asylum. And like Ayanna Pressley, asylum is a human right. Like, what? No, it's not. Like, not everything you want is a human right. Like, so they just operate in these wild swings of emotion. Just let everybody come here, and like, well, if you
I don't even and half of what Ayanna Presley says, because everything
Oh,
is either justice, equity, asylum, immigration, justice, or whatever the fuck she says. Like, I don't even understand half the things that she says, because what you're saying is gibberish, and it's based on just feelings, and nothing is based on facts. And we all know that you collected rent during the pandemic, and I mean, the hypocrisy is there, but it's not really hypocrisy, because you're untouchable, because you're in a D plus infinity district, and you will never be touched unless you step down. So
right. Well, I do hope she runs for higher office one day so I can run against her. And I sincerely mean that, because I would do, it would be fun. I would have a great time running against her. There's an endless trough of content to just rally all the normals in the state around, who are tired of this nonsense.
And I would like to make sure that everyone understands, who watches this program, that Jeff and I came up with the normals first. So you have to come into our bubble in order to say normals, because we're the normals.
Yeah, that's true.
We're the median Republican voters, the people that you all call RINOs, every side of it. But we're not RINOs. We vote Republican. We're, all of that jazz. We came up with the term.
We're pretty damn conservative.
Yeah, we're pretty damn conservative. But at the same time, we came up with the term. We want America to succeed. And we want our fiscal just sanity at this point. Just basic thing, the strong military and all of that jazz. So if you're using the term normals on your podcast, you know who. You watched this.
Yeah.
We came up with it first.
Yep. That's a good point. And we'll call the abs the abnormals. All right. Anything else? Did we have anything else? I think that was it.
I don't think so. I think that was it.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll probably have to talk about the reconciliation bill when it comes out. We'll see what.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But cross your fingers, it all fails, if you want America to succeed. All right, until next time, everybody. We did a great episode on Sohrab Ahmari and his saying that the right is a failure. I disagreed. Go to patreon.com/RhinoPod, patreon.com/RhinoPod, only $1 a month. We also talk about Trump DeSantis 2024. Could it be? No. Okay. And with that, we'll leave you until next time. Bye-bye.